Welcome back to Super J Recap. I'm Kyle. Well, I'm joined once again by my friend.
Michael Watson. I
Yep.
didn't know. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to butt in there or not.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm back for another match.
Yep. And this time we're going over another quarterfinal matchup. This is the Ultimo Dragon taking on Shinjiro Otani. What were your thoughts on this match, just kind of overall?
Okay, so going into this one, obviously I know who Ultimo Dragon is. Saw stuff in WCW when I was a kid and stuff like that. Otani, I was actually only familiar with over the last like couple of years, like when he did the stuff for like Mania weekend when he
Yep.
like had those matches with John Gresham and all them. And then he was it Liger's last match or second to last match or whatever
Yeah,
at
the tag match. Yep.
right. Yeah, he was one of the people in that big tag match. So, um, seeing him as like a young Otani, like he's like it's a really weird way to be introduced to a wrestler as like them in like their like very twilight without like any of the not very twilight that sounds but you know what I mean like as a much different person than they were 25 years prior in like the prime of their career like yeah, he was like a stud. He like looked good, you know? Like
Yeah.
um yeah, he kind of gave me like a little bit like a Shibata vibes. Like in a real cool way. And then, Ultimo Dragon, one thing I like about the stuff that we've watched from this tournament is how everyone has like a very like different like visual look, you know what I mean? Like and there's like a lot of different characters without them being I don't know, like hokey. Like they're still like superhero, but they're not corny somehow. And so like yeah, Ultimate Dragon, I don't know, there's just a part of wrestling is the costumery and the like his music hitting and the way he charged the ring and like how the match opened with Otani shoving the ref out of the way and then opening the ropes and like yeah.
Yeah.
It just the whole start to the whole thing and me kind of having a general idea of how who both were. It got me stoked. I was excited to watch this match and it definitely did not disappoint.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really funny because I had the same reaction when I started watching the '94 Cup that you had to Otani because I know a little bit about modern Otani, and he has kind
Yeah.
of a reputation of, oh, he gets in there and really slows things down and grapples with guys. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna love that for this super high paced,
Right.
junior heavyweight match, and then his first match, he just goes in there and starts just kicking the crap out of people, and it's like, wait, this is
Yeah.
what Otani was.
He's intense, man. I was I literally I think put in here like need to watch more old Otani. Like
Yeah.
that was like it was like I was like, oh, I need to go back and watch more of this, which um you can definitely again see like a lot of influence on a lot of whether it be just this era of like pro wrestling, especially in Japan, or like these specific wrestlers, but you see a lot of the influence on people that are like doing like really huge things now.
Yep. Yeah, my roommate who reviewed the first Otani match in this tournament actually did a comparison to like Zack Sabre Jr.
That's
Of yeah,
So that's exactly the same comparison that I was gonna make, but I wasn't sure if that was like just like a really like dumb you know what I mean? Like just like oh there was a bunch of people back in this time that like had all the same vibe. So he's really just emulating a group of wrestlers versus like specifically this one
yep,
wrestler.
yeah.
Uh
No, but I think like your two comparisons thus far are a good hybrid to describe what Otani was. Like he's a little bit of Shibata, he's a little bit of Zack Sabre Jr.
yeah, he definitely had that like intensity and attitude, and then
Yeah,
like in that probably like third of the way through the match when there was like a lot of those like holds where he was like really stretching out Ultimo Dragon quite a bit. Like that's when there was like a lot of that Zack Saber Jr. of how he was just like
yep,
twisting him up and all that kind of stuff, and you could kind of see the way that he did that and like how aggressively he did that. You can definitely see like Saber doing like very similar
yep.
uh, mannerisms and stuff like that.
Yeah, but yeah, they start the match off like both going for big spin kicks, both missing. Dragon does the like backdrop, lands on his feet, drop kicks Otani to the floor, misses a slingshot plancha, then does the running drop kick from the apron, springboard dive by Otani, which again, this was like the same reaction last time, and was like, wait, I'm thinking of like old man Otani now, and it's like, oh, he could springboard and like do all this cool stuff,
Yeah. Some of like the more like high flying kind of stuff definitely surprised me, or just like caught me off guard, I should say.
Yeah.
But like I felt like with the little bit that I knew of him going in there and him seeming to be like very technically based in what you were kind of saying, like slowing stuff down, really like grinding holds and stuff like that. Which I kind of figured just based off of the matches that he had in New York and stuff like that. Because you're putting matches together that are like dream matches. So to have like again like a John Gresham who's like one of the top technical wrestlers now versus like I was kind of going into it with like, oh, it's probably gonna be a lot of holds and a lot of technical wrestling, and that definitely was in there, but wasn't the centerpiece that I was expecting it to be. Whereas like I kind of thought it was going to be Dragon doing a lot of like the more WCW cruiserweight kind of stuff, because that was again the only stuff that I had seen of his, and then him kind of trying to wrestle his match and Otani trying to wrestle his own match.
Yeah.
But it really seemed like they kind of met in the middle more than I was expecting, and they both just like went crazy in this match.
Yeah, and like to me, because, and I don't know if you knew this, so the 94 J Cup was produced and set up by Jushin Liger.
I did not know that.
The 95 was set up and produced by Ultimo Dragon.
Oh,
so you can probably tell that he picked out like, I want to wrestle this guy, I want to wrestle this guy, I want to wrestle this guy. And so like the fact that Otani is on that list, of the three people he ends up wrestling this night, it's like, and it's a weird trio if you think about it, because he wrestles Funaki in the first round, Otani in the second round, and then Liger in the third round. So it's like, that's weird.
Right.
But so you can tell, like, I think Ultimo is very excited, of these three matches, and I think, like you said, with that, meshing the styles, and being able to, because especially at this point, Ultimo Dragon was using like the La Mistral Cradle as his finisher, kind of.
Sure, yeah.
So the fact that he was doing that, instead of some, crazy high flying thing, or he hadn't really done the Dragon Sleeper yet. So it was like he was a little more technical, so that, blends in here.
Yeah.
I loved the insanity that was the two of them hitting tombstone pile drivers.
Yes.
And then just no selling it.
Just kipping up afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like they were leaping tombstone pile drivers too.
Yeah, they were like the Matt Riddle style, like tombstones. Yeah.
Right. And the last one, like, so what they traded back and forth, I think each.
Yeah.
And the last one that Dragon hit on Otani, he spiked him.
Yeah.
Like the camera angle is perfect that you just see like his like head, him kind of slip a little, and his head just like smash against the mat.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, yeah, it was rough.
And then that leads to the finish, which was Otani misses the springboard drop kick, which was actually kind of a nice little throwback
to the beginning of the match.
Yeah, well, beginning of the match, and actually that was the setup for the finish in his first round match.
Oh, okay.
Because he hit the springboard drop kick in his first round match, and then he hit a springboard drop kick to the knee.
Oh, okay.
And then then pulled in for the leg lock and submitted Mochizuki, who was actually his first round match up. But he misses that. Then Dragon goes for the La Mistral, doesn't get it at that point. And yeah, like this is so good. Like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
like the build, like how it kind of like it started off really fast and then like really hard hitting and like some of those that crazy like the dives and all that kind of stuff, and then it really went into like that mat based match for like a good like 5-6 minutes, something like that, it
yeah,
seemed
yeah,
like. And then it really just like ramped back up and we got the spot with the dueling tombstones, like all that kind of stuff. And the crowd was like during the technical part, it was, you could hear a pin drop in there,
yeah.
and then like by the end of it, it is like people on their feet screaming. Like
Yeah,
it was,
they're going crazy.
yeah,
And like Dragon didn't just hit like, because I even was gonna do in my notes like, oh, okay, Dragon's going up, gonna do a moonsault, but he does the like twisting like Yang Time moonsault, which
yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot that was even a thing that he did.
yeah. Um, yeah, the end of this match was bonkers. Like, and the crowd was so into it, and that like them taking the crowd for like that ride and like getting that reaction, it really helps to like as a viewer have the same anticipation like watching the match. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like having that same focus when they're down, and then like having that same like energetic, just kind of like atmosphere when they're coming back up.
Yep. So then, as is tradition, we asked like, for the winner, would you keep watching, their matches? So would you keep watching Ultimo Dragon matches?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like like that's like another like pretty obvious one, but I like it show I this was a different version of Ultimo Dragon than I was like super familiar with. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you saw glimpses of it in the WCW era Ultimo Dragon, but even then, like I said before, I'm not a person that goes back and watches a lot of old wrestling very regularly. So
Yeah.
even my remember like what I remember of Ultimo Dragon matches is not like crystal clear or anything like that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's just he was a larger than life character in those days, so it was like very memorable. And then like going back and watching some of the famous matches that he had in WCW, but
Yeah. And yeah, like Dragon's always super cool. Like I've gotten to shoot 2 shows with him, now, and it's like, oh, that's so weird that like he's one of the people that I've shot like multiple shows of.
yeah, I have taken, I believe, one photo of Ultimo Dragon in my life, and it was
Yeah.
at what was it? What match was he in? It was one of the shows in New York, and
Oh, okay.
and I was just like, I was basically what I did is I just posted up in this one spot that was like basically gorilla, but it was like just like a little bit before it, so like I could kind of like be in that area and not be in anybody's way or in anybody's hair or anything like that. And I just like Ultimo Dragon walked by and I was like, "Hey, can I take a picture real quick?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I just like shot it and then walked off, and then that was literally it.
Oh, nice.
But I put it in a spread in one of my zines, and it was him on one page, and did I actually? Yeah, I did that. And then Dragon Lee on the other.
Oh,
It's
cool.
kind
That's
of
a
this like
nice. Yeah.
generations of like dragon gimmick. I know they're like in no way related, but
Yeah.
it's kind
But
of
yeah,
interesting.
it makes, yeah, like it's super cool.
Yeah,
Um, and then for the loser,
yeah,
was Shinjiro Otani. Later, I believe this year, in '96 actually, because this was in like December of '95.
yeah. I
Uh,
noticed that it was in December.
in '96 and '97, he actually ends up winning the J Crown, which
Oh,
was
crazy.
because basically this tournament, I think they were gonna try and do it yearly,
Hmm.
but then '96 they decide to do the J Crown with all the 8 titles,
Oh, okay.
and so I think that kind of became the tournament for that year.
Sure.
But it was a lot of these same wrestlers.
Right.
Um,
The same kind of era of
yeah.
guy group.
So he was actually the last holder of the J Crown,
Interesting.
because actually right after he won it, WWF wanted the light heavyweight title back,
Oh, gotcha.
because they basically just gave it to Taka,
Hmm.
and Taka just went back to Japan, you know, for
Yeah.
a little bit there and was
Yeah.
defending it around Japan.
Right.
And then they were like, "Oh wait, we need that. We need a light heavyweight title back now." So once the WWF title was gone, the other promotions didn't want as much to do with it.
Gotcha.
But he was also the reigning IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, so he
Okay.
just kept that one.
Yeah.
And then he when Shinya Hashimoto left New Japan Pro Wrestling to form Zero One, Otani went with him and basically became the junior ace for the promotion from, then in like 2000 to now. He's the president of Zero One. So
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Huh. Yeah. A lot happened afterwards,
yeah, a lot of stuff happened. So
Right.
So yeah, any final thoughts? Should we wrap it up?
No, I mean, like, I'm excited to go back and watch more stuff from this era.
Yeah.
These matches were fantastic. Like, I really, really enjoyed them. My wife even liked watching some of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which she's not a wrestling person at all. More so the first one, I guess, because the dude with the crab claws and the dancing and all that.
Yeah, that's always, like just something interesting. Like, just like, what is that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's like that entertainment kind of aspect of wrestling where, a lot of people now are trying to get people into like non-wrestling fans to wrestling shows.
Yeah.
Obviously, when shows happen, all that kind of stuff into wrestling. And so, yeah, it's just like different aspects of it. And this match with Ultimo Dragon and Otani was a little bit more of like a wrestling fans wrestling match.
Yeah.
And like I enjoyed both of the matches for different reasons. And I think that's something that's really cool that they were doing within that tournament even, because like sometimes in a tournament I feel like it can get to where it's like, okay, well the tournament's about this one thing, so it's just kind of like the same match over and over and over again with just like different people thrown in there. But I actually really liked that the like the first match that we watched was a shorter match, and it was just like it did everything it had to do. And then this one was a little bit longer and had a little bit more of like a build and crescendo and stuff to it. I think it's cool that they put different stuff like that in the tournament.
Yeah,
makes it more fun to watch.
Yeah, and then even moving forward, like one of the next matches we're going to cover is Gato versus Dos Caras.
Oh, cool.
Which is a completely different style match.
Right. Yeah, but it's kind of that like takes all types and you mix it all together, and that's what makes it so fun to it.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite matches from the first time around was a nice little styles clash, and it was Black Tiger, so Eddie Guerrero taking on Taka Michinoku.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And like that was super fun,
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, so what are your plugs and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at brainbuster_. My eShop, brainbusterinc.bigcartel.com. I also do a podcast called Bad Light Podcast and run a like a collaborative international wrestling photography zine called Bad Light as well. You can find that at badlightzine.bigcartel.com.
Sweet. And then you can follow me at Knocked Out Films on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. And thanks for watching.